Hey everybody, Carl and Erynn here, and we're going to make a little trek to Missouri, and oddly enough, or maybe not so oddly, play an A tune. They love A in the key of Missouri, and we're going to do Cyril Stinnett's version of Lady on the Green, and he played out a standard tuning, and they were very adept at playing tunes in A and out of standard tuning. So we'll try this. We'll get Erynn to fiddle it for us. I think you'll find it a lot of fun, and I'm capoed on the second fret because I can kind of follow the pump organ's bass line a little better that way. So that's my reason, and I'm sticking to it. So let's give it a go. Lady on the Green.
Yeah, and you're going to do some of those Missouri rules chords that you'll talk about later.
Could be true. A beautiful ending.
Lady on the Green. It's a
Tune.
great tune for your spring and summer jams.
Thank you, Erynn. Thanks for fiddling there. So I'll slide up a little closer on the green here. I'm actually on a putting green right here. No, but that would be a good place to be. It'd be nice and atmospheric. But I'm coming in a little closer here. Let's see if we can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so the main thing we're going to think about here, like I say, I'm capoed in the second fret. But whenever you play an A tune, your first question among many is, do I play it open? And a lot of people like to play open. I do too, because you have that nice low E bass note, the lowest note on the guitar. In this case, as I was saying, I can kind of copy the pump organ's bass line. Let's just look at, first of all, when you're thinking in the key of A, or sounding in the key of A, but thinking capoed position. So you have a G chord. I'm thinking G chord, C chord, and a D chord shape. And in actuality, you know, the capo makes it an A, right, to a D and an E. So first thing, let's just look at the basic bass line. The pump organ, what I liked about capoing it, just did the backup was going to be like a G chord using 6 and 5 twice. Let's do a basic thing here. Then they did a D chord, but they did a thumb hook low. Or, you know, I'm doing a thumb hook to get that the organ note. So it's the 5th string, regular D chord, but you reach down and get that 2nd fret low, which copies the 1st string, 2nd fret, right? Your 1st string is the same as the low string, just further apart. So for this D chord, I'm going to hit 5 and the thumb hook note 6 twice. Back to G, 6 and 5. And here it goes to the C chord, the 4 chord. And on the organ, he does a nice little low open bass, which is kind of nice. So it's the C chord, 5th string, and then the open 6th string. And back to that thumb hook note. So that's the basic pattern, which worked for the whole tune, both parts. Let's just try that before we get into anything different. So, and you can always walk a little bit. And again, this is kind of a notey, a little bit notey in the second part. So sometimes your walks, you have to try them and see if they work or not. If they sound a little too contrasted to what the fiddle's doing, maybe do a different walk or just don't walk at all, you know. Of course, if you never walk, you're never going to get anywhere. So don't rule out walking. Give it a shot. So let's just try a little walk here on the bass string, open, 2, 3 for our little lead in there. And you could always do that, or you could always do the 5th string, 2 and open down to that. That's kind of like will the circle bend up to the root or down to the root. Your two basic kind of walks, you know, up to the bass note or start higher and walk down. So I'm going to walk up and I'm going to that G chord, 6 strum and 5 twice. Now the D chord, 5 and the thumb hook note low twice. Back to G without a walk, it's G, 6 and 5 one time. C chord, the 5th string and the open low bass. Back to the D, thumb hook 5, and the thumb hook G, and you can walk, and that's the first part. D, thumb hook twice, G chord and a C, low bass, D, thumb hook, and a G. Okay, let's do it again. That's the first part. Say D5 and the low thumb hook twice, G chord 6 and 5, C chord 5, the open bass, thumb hook 5 and thumb hook G. One more time just for practicing that. That's beautiful. That's kind of copying pretty close some of the organ notes. It's easier to do with the capo than not. So you could always walk to the C and do a different bass note on the C. So what I do on some of that is I'll do a bass walks coming from like a D chord. Things like that. So the D chord, 4 and 5, the thumb hook note, and then the G chord. So what I've done on my tab is something pretty similar. I think it's something like on the first part, 6, 5, and 4 maybe. Back the way I came, the thumb hook twice, and maybe that little walk. You can walk to say, we'll try different things. You know, you'll get a lot of ideas as you mess with. I think I did it in that little thumb hook, and I had a little down walk maybe. Maybe a walk. And on the second part, it's really nice. One nice concept to keep in mind is if you do something a little different, even though the chords are the same, do something a little different. So I'm playing on the low strings. So for the second part, I thought for myself and just for something to try, I would move up a little higher. So what I did was think of I do the regular G chord, I go up on a cascade, a bass cascade you might call it. Sounds nice. Sounds like maybe a new soap or something. Oh, I love the way my linen smells after I use bass cascade. But anyway, so I'm going just that 5, 4, 3, a little 3 strings in a row to start my second part. So say I'm coming out of that first part. Pick, strum, 5, 4, 3. And I'm just going to do strums. So I'm going to go 3 strum, 4 strum, and that 2nd fret, 5th strum. I'm not going to use the low string, so it's going to be 3, keeping that 3rd fret high. So I'm starting with that. Then I'm going to go to a little partial D, and I'll get up here close. You can see instead of this whole D, I'm just going to let go of the first string. And here's a little thing you can try. Just your first finger is going to take, let's see what happens. Let me think about this. Your first string note, your second finger is going to take over that second string note and just let that other one go. And I'm going to be using that 3rd string for a bass. And I'm going to reach down here. So I'm getting an arpeggio there. Let's just find that first without even worrying about the chord. Let's get the 3rd string, 2nd fret, from the capo, 2nd fret. And I'm going to reach down and get the 3rd finger, 4th fret, 4th string, and open. It's just like an arpeggio, 3 notes of a chord. And all of those, any chord arpeggio, all 3 of those notes are good bass note possibilities. So I'm going to be using that little partial droney D, and the first string's going to be kind of a jazzy note. I'm not going to worry about it. I can do a strum with that. So I'm going to use that for my D phrase. It's up higher, and then make it be a little different thing for the second part. Might be nice. Might work. It might not. So and I was doing that in Erynn's fiddle video a little bit, so you can see if you like it or not. If not, you can always stay low and stay in the low territory. Some people like to live in the low country and they never want to get up in the higher terrain. That's fine too. So the second part, I'm gonna go up to that little cascade, the 3rd string, 4th, and the 2nd fret, 5th string, back to the 4th. Now that partial D, the arpeggio in the bass, go back, and then just a regular C chord, and then you're back to kind of the regular stuff you did. Second part, and that partial D, arpeggio in the bass line. C chord, you do a little walk there. Not too hard. So anytime a couple of other notes, just just picking 2 bass notes, even chord tones, not even worrying about walking up or down. I'm just doing the other notes of the chord. So you can just practice that. sounds kind of nice. So I'm getting carried away a little bit, but you start to have and something I always have reminded everybody, if you can play just your bass walks clean and sound nice, you're really close to just playing melodies too. So if you need to be able to play a melody, a little interlude or an intro or a vamp in between, for somebody singing a song, you're playing a second guitar or something. That's a great thing to work on. Just think about your bass walks as great ways to get better at playing melodies. So let's just do one other thing that you could do on that second part that just came to me. If you wanted to do a little bit of a coming out of that, what I started with, same thing, that D partial with you could do something like this. You could just kind of walk down. So you just walk down to that 4th fret in the C chord, start on that 4th string and put the bass down. So think about each one of your bass notes as it's just kind of like pulling you in another, some direction. You could be traveling higher or lower, but you're going to you have a destination, which is your next chord, and there's lots of ways to get there. You could do it with some bluesy notes or pretty notes, or just not even do anything fancy at all. Just stay on your one note over and over a few times. But you got a lot of choices, and I think the more you just back up a song or a tune and try different things, you'll find your favorite ways. And each tune is kind of like a different challenge, So let me just do both parts, kind of what we had on Lady on the Green one more time. So it's not, I think you'll find it's just a good thing to practice in any, just warming up, get your guitar. I'm saying, okay, I'm in the key of A, capoed up the 2nd fret, thinking G, C, and D. And then you might want to make a chord chart. So in this case, you have the G shape with a walk. We had that twice, right? 2 measures of that. The D chord with the thumb up twice, 2 measures of that. And the G, 1 measure, C chord. And the D chord, 1 measure back to, that's the basic. So a chord chart, you can do that. First part, 2 measures, D chord. You can do anywhere, any note you want. Right chord though. To the C chord and the D chord. And the second part, we're going to cascade up high. And the partial D arpeggio. G to C and a D back. Repeat the second part, cascade high. And the D partial fingering, you can experiment with it. You could do. First part, bip, bip, that's the first part. Repeat the first part. Thumb hook, and I'll try that nice little low note with a C. That's pretty. And gonna climb up for the second part. D drone, 2 fingers with the arpeggio. C chord. Could walk 2 notes for that D chord, back to the G. Repeat the second part. So you get some ideas as you go. So I got a little syncopated there, and that might not work. The fancier you get, sometimes the more you might go astray from being with the fiddler. So I'll close with just thinking about the fiddler's style. If they're kind of jazzy and bluesy, that'll have an influence on what you do with the guitar. If they're pretty straight and play very pretty, you'll probably it'll influence what you do too. But the main thing is just kind of listening to the fiddler and seeing what they're doing, and try to fit with their, try to blend in with that, the timing wise too. So this is the key of A. A lot of those Missouri fiddlers play them pretty peppy. We were doing it pretty easy going tonight, but if you bump up into a Missouri fiddler, they might play them pretty peppy. So be ready to keep moving when you're on the green there. So hope you enjoy Lady on the Green, and try playing with the capo and without a capo and see which one you like, because it's good to be able to do both, and especially if you have another guitar player in the session, a little jam or something, it's great to be able to, maybe one will be open, the other could be capoed. And remember, you got 5 different places you can play, open, or 4 other places with a capo in some keys. So more to ponder, but just pick that guitar often, and thanks so much.